Cool.
Did I shoot that thing? Hello, Jacob. I would like to run. I'm pushing L1.
Nope. No running. Loading zones only. Final destination.
And yeah, the sprint, aka light jog button, is L1.
At least it's not like Call of Duty where it's pressing in the right stick.
Or, yeah, left stick.
Left stick. Yeah, left stick. Press L3 to sprint.
Yeah,
constantly.
I'd rather have it be a shoulder button than L3. Games that make you jam L3 constantly are not fun. Hi.
Yeah, I was waiting for some to jump out of there.
Ooh.
Listen clearly, Jacob.
2
That
second
vent in
vent.
the far corner will get you to waste processing.
Heh. Heh.
No movement detected.
RoboCop seems like he's
So we
on
have to
that.
fight a Robocop. There's only 2 of these in the game, and let me tell you, they are disappointing. So Robocops can instantly kill you if they start shooting at you, but it is quite easy to also dispatch them yourself. And because this game gives you an autosave every 30 seconds, if we die, we literally start, like, right here.
Wow. Yeah, that just takes away any of the challenge. I guess, is there a mode like in...
Failures detect. Service
Wow.
required.
There's a mode in...
And you fight, I'm not kidding, you fight 2 of them in the entire game. That was one of them, there's 1 left.
Cool. There's a mode in Dead Space where if you die, right? Like, you don't restart. There's, like, no saves.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah. That would be cool. But, yeah, there's a difference between, like, something like that and having quick saves so often. And with horror games, I really feel horror games shouldn't... And I don't... Whether you call this a horror or an action game, but horror games should not have autosaves. Why? Because it takes away all the scariness of it.
Yeah, remember when I had, like, slight complications with that one combat encounter with the spitter right in front of Danny's cell? I just restarted, because that's what you can do in this game.
Yeah, it's not scary then. Even if the stuff that's happening is, like, spooky, the game isn't scary. Like, look at, like, a game like Silent Hill 1 or 2, right? Like, when you find a save point, it's like a relief. Like, you feel the relief, like, oh my god, okay, thank you, it's been so long, whatever, you know?
Yeah. I mean, it's really hard to take this game seriously when Jacob is, like, ducking in and out like an MMA fighter against everything.
True.
And he's like, dude, he's a pilot. He's not, like, Mr. Universe. Like, he's just a pilot. He sits in a chair. Why is he god tier at everything? Although I guess you could say the same thing about Isaac. But I feel as if Isaac... in the first game, really didn't do anything, like, super crazy.
I don't think
he only became an action hero in Dead Space 2.
Yeah, but by that point he had, like, the experience and everything, you know? It's just kind of like, it's kind of like Luke Skywalker. By, like, Return of the Jedi, he's, like, awesome.
Yeah, but in New Hope, he is, like, worthless.
Right. And that makes sense. Like, if he wasn't strong by Return of the Jedi, you'd be like, well, what was all that training for? What's the point? So, I'm okay with how they did Isaac Clarke for that.
Yeah. I do think it gets a little over the top in Dead Space 2, but he did go through an entire game first.
Yeah, it's also been a long time since I played Dead Space 2.
There's a couple moments which I would call Iron Man moments. I mean, Iron Man at the time was making $1 billion. I think Iron Man 3 like just came out. So there's times when like Isaac gets into like Iron Man mode and like starts up his thrusters on his feet and he like starts like flying towards like a train that's in motion. It only happens a couple times in the game, but when it happens, it's silly.
You know, it's really weird when you think about it, how they don't make a lot of them anymore, pretty much just Batman and Spider-Man, but, like, how a lot of superhero games from, like, the 360 era, like, were not good. Like, how do you... They made 2 Iron Man games. How do you make a bad Iron Man game? You just fly around and shoot stuff.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like... Now, some Transformers games for the 360 are excellent. Like, people like Fall of Cybertron and War for Cybertron. But how are a lot of the rest of them not great? It's like... Big mech fight. There you go. There's the game.
I know Iron Man 1 and 2 and the Captain American game were made by Sega, so I'm just gonna guess they just cheaped out.
Yeah, it makes sense.
The unfortunate thing is that like licensed games barely exist because game development is so pricey and takes so long that when you get like a license for something, you have to pay like probably a huge percentage to the IP holder, and at that point, like you have to like just like half-ass everything.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of like movies and stuff that like just as an example, like Surf's Up, How to Train Your Dragon, that like would have had games, and nowadays a lot of the big ones like just don't, you know, just because it'd be so expensive and it would take years and years. There's just no point. Trevor will know who this customer is, but a customer who calls us all the time asked me earlier in the year if they were going to make a video game about the Mario Brothers movie, and I still think that's the funniest thing.
I can't believe
Hey,
they made.
Spencer, are they going to make a video game about the Mario Brothers movie?
Was it literally Tony?
Yeah. It's called literally every Mario game for the last 40 years.
Tony literally doesn't talk to me. So.
That was an excellent question. Yeah, I want a Mario game, but I want what's his name? Dude Weed Seth guy to be Donkey Kong's voice in it, please. Thanks.
Dude Weed.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Seth Rogen. That's what I think about. Whenever I see his face, he's like, "Hey, I'm Seth Rogen, weed, and I don't like religion stuff. Nothing matters." That's my Seth Rogen. Did you like it? People are free to do their Spencer impersonations if they want to. That's fine. I made this movie called Sausage Party. It looks like a kids thing, but it's actually a really, really raunchy comedy that's made for literally nobody. Sausages are like wieners.
My favorite thing about that is how there was like a bunch of like controversy around like the production of that movie, how they are like making animators work like 80-hour weeks and barely paying them.
It's like the
so you have like the dumbest thing ever, and they treated like people like trash to make it. It's like, screw you, Seth Rogen.
We need to get this out by the holiday season. People need to know that sausages are like wieners. Weed. Hold on, I gotta go smoke some weed. Good times.
Whoa.
This may surprise you. Now, there's someone out there right now, that is seething. Clip that. I guess we're not on Twitch. Somebody clip that. I'm gonna use that to make a 5-hour video about why Sausage Party is actually the best movie ever made, and it deconstructs food-based things that are like
Food-based
wieners.
adult comedies. It's the Evangelion of food-based adult comedies.
Well, I mean, if it's the only one, I guess technically it's the Evangelion of that, right? Man. Yeah, that movie came out like 5 years ago or something like that, right? I just remember, like...
Time is a meme. I'm not a... Our lives are a simulation. I'm not...
yeah, I'm fine with that.
I'm not convinced that time is real.
I just remember seeing, like, some of the characters, and they're, like...
I'm going back just to sell stuff, because there's 6 inventory spots.
Oh, okay. Yeah, like, obviously sausages look like certain things, but they also had other things that look like female parts, and I'm like, ugh, this is so funny!
Dude vaginas in mouth.
I literally... Bro, listen. I was having a hot dog last night, and the thought occurred to me, well, when I was smoking weed, you know. And hot dogs look like wieners, bro. That's it. $50 million budget. Get it done.
Oh, I just have enough to buy a next upgrade. Oh, yeah.
Call the 3D animators in Indonesia or something like that. I don't know where it would be. Wherever Disney uses. Pay them $2 an hour, 100-hour weeks. Weed. We got a bunch of Blu-rays in this week, and a couple of them had Seth Rogen on the front cover, and like he has the same face on like both of them, and I'm like, man, this dude's made like $100 million being like, just I'm kind of a fat guy, but not really, and I like weed. It's like, that's, dude, if you find it, man, rock it. I'm not I'm not against it for that. Oh man. No, speaking of actors or comedians, do you know the guy Kevin Hart? Like, are you familiar with him at all?
Sounds familiar. I'm not sure though.
He's like a pretty short dude. He talks a really high voice. He's African American. I'm trying to think of what he's in. Anyway, so he like appeared out of nowhere. All of a sudden,
I don't think I know who you're talking about.
Okay, that's fine. So he's in a bunch of like bad bad comedy movies, which like there's no reason you would watch them. But he appeared like out of nowhere like 10 years ago, and it was just like really, really.
Oh, poo poo time.
Let's go.
Oh.
It's just like my Resident Evil 3. So he appeared out of nowhere like 10 years ago, and all of a sudden was just in everything. Like every big comedy, he was just all of a sudden in, and he's like in every commercial and all this stuff. And this other comedian named Cat Williams just came out with this interview where essentially he was saying like, for whatever reason, Kevin Hart is being like pushed by like Hollywood for whatever weird, odd reason. And it got me to thinking. I was like, holy crap, that is actually true. Like, he was like, has anyone ever gone to one of his shows, like had a sold out show where they're giving like these standing ovations? Like, no, he just appeared out of nowhere and all of a sudden he's in everything. And I'm like, whoa, Hollywood is also a simulation where they're just like, this guy will abide by our rules. He'll abide by our rules, whatever. So now he can be in everything. And it's like,
My favorite thing about 2024 already, we're only like 6 days in, but the Hollywood, or the Star Wars movie industry is moving again, and the director of the new Star Wars film has already said some stuff that is making everybody really mad, and I'm here for it. Another 5 years of misery.
I mean, I don't understand how they can be so stupid.
I don't even care about I literally never watched Star Wars. I only watched 7 on Blu-ray, never even watched 8 or 9, but I'm here. I'm here for everyone getting mad.
Like, they came out and were like, hey, this is going to be about Rey, and literally every single person was like...
Why?
Was like, why, though? Like, I'm sure even the actress was like, why, though? And then Disney was like, how about $10 million? And she's like, yes. I mean, I'd do the same thing. Why not?
I mean,
right?
what else? I think her career basically died.
She's mostly in, like, indie weird stuff, which is fun. But anyway, even the most hardcore fans are like, Episode 9 sucked, Rey's not a great character, and they're like, alright, so we're going to move forward with this new movie's Endor trilogy, and it's all going to be about Rey, and she's going to be just like Luke, only better and cooler, and she's not going to fail, and she's just great. And already everyone's like, okay, pass. Like, I'm not going to see it in theaters. I didn't see any of the 3 new ones in theaters because I
can understand the hype around episode 7.
Yeah.
And 8, I guess I can understand the hype because, 7 was like pretty,
fine.
It was very safe, but it did the job. And then 8 was like, okay, here we go. It's the Empire Strikes Back moment where they can do something new. And they did something new, but it was a huge disaster.
And
then everyone hated Star Wars forever.
Yeah, so everyone's like, nobody's into it. And now the director of the new movie's like, I think that this movie will be good because I'm a woman and Rey's a woman and we need women in part of stuff.
I mean, I'm not even against, like...
Everyone's like, okay.
I'm not even against, like, feminism or whatever, but, like, when you say, like, really arrogant stuff, like, finally it's time for a female-led directed movie, and it's like, but they've already made, like, Star Wars, like, Disney Plus shows with, like, girl directors.
Yes.
You aren't special at all. Why are you saying this? You just seem like you're a huge butthole.
Perhaps, she is. And, yeah, I'm so excited. I wish it was here sooner. It's been 4 years since Rise of Skywalker, which is, honest to God, one of the worst movies I've ever seen with a big budget. Like, truly makes you wonder how they released it in the theaters.
Yeah. Bravo, JJ. Bravo.
I just remember being, like, physically getting, like, not ill, but, like, having to pause the movie, because I watched it at home, because so much was happening so fast, and they were, like, constantly cutting between different planets and stuff, and I was like, what is going on? I had to stop at, like, 30-40 minutes in, because I was like, I feel like someone with ADD's trying to explain something to me, but also they drank 3 monsters.
And also they come up with plot points and are like, oh, let's do this and this and this and this and this and this and this. Oh, look at this, look at this. It's like how to go insane.
It's true. I literally felt like I was going insane. I was like, wait a minute, what? My favorite part of the whole movie, and it's obviously it's all awful, is where they introduce, like, probably halfway through the movie, they introduce this character on this one planet who she's always wearing a helmet. I forget her name because literally no one remembers her name. Who cares? It's Who Caresian. And she's always wearing a helmet, and Poe Dameron's there, the guy who says somehow Palpatine returned. And she like beats him in like a fight, and then it becomes clear like they used to be a thing or whatever. She's like, oh, you're back, Poe. And he's like, yeah, sorry about all that stuff that happened in the past.
Introducing new characters in the 3rd movie of your trilogy.
Halfway through. And then they literally leave the planet, and either she's not seen again, or she's only seen again in one scene, and I don't believe she ever takes off her helmet anyway. So it's like...
That's awesome.
Like, also... you can have that character, but then don't be like, Poe, remember, we used to clearly be a thing, and you effed up, and you left, and I hate you. And then be like, okay, bye. What?
This is stuff you should do in Episode 7, not Episode 9.
Yeah. And there's, of course, there's Rey Skywalker, which is the funniest thing in the history of the universe
Rey
ever.
Palpatine. She's literally a Palpatine.
Literally Palpatine.
I'm Skywalker because I said so. No!
Yeah, I'm Spencer Brady.
You should change your name to that.
I mean, it's BR, so right, whatever. Hey, Tom, I'm your, I'm too old to be a son. I'm your, 3rd cousin. Money, please. Also, get me tickets. Get me tickets for every NFL thing ever, thanks. Okay, bye. We should just do that. If you're ever not happy with a single thing about yourself, just say you're something different. I'm Spencer Biden. I'm in the... Let me in the White House now, please. Thanks. I love sewer levels.
They sure are awesome. I like it when I have to do canned animations every 5 seconds.
That was 2 seconds.
I was about to say every 15 seconds, but on average every 5 seconds.
Yeah. That literally was instantly. I'm so glad that PS5 has solid state. That's the... I gotta be honest, between a really nice PS4 and, like, a pretty good PS5 game, Sometimes it's hard to tell the difference in graphics and all that, but
I've
solid state is such a huge difference.
I've said it before. I might even said it in the first sit down at Callisto. But whenever people ask me about like what's different about PS5, I'd be like, not really anything significant, but it's just like how nice everything is now, how instant everything is. It doesn't feel like it's crap. Like I was practicing probably my next LP game is DMC3, and I just loaded up my PS4 with the HD collection. And like when I was just like using the user interface, I was like, this sucks.
It's weird because PS5's user interface is pretty good. PS4's was not great, but PS3's was awesome. So like, why did they go away from that PSP/PS3 thing where it was just like one? You know what? PS5's is almost pretty similar to PS3, but PS3's user interface was still probably the best. Just very simple. You know where everything is. And then you look at the exact opposite, which is Xbox. And if I have to figure out something in an Xbox at the store, like how to do something or whatever, I'm like, I go through like 7 menus and I'm like, what is this? Oh, no. It's, you want to test a controller. It's under, accessories and then devices. Oh, thanks. Why can't there just be a thing where it's like, just devices or just controller?
Whoa.
There was, I forget if I said it in the group chat, but last month at some point, someone traded in an Xbox One that was not connected to the internet for so long that it had to do 2 4-gigabyte updates.
Literally, probably what, like 90 minutes at least.
It was the original operating system on it, like the original user interface, and I was like, what? And I was like, okay, I'm so curious, and I set it up, and it did the download and the installation. And then it immediately started another, or it asked me to start another one. And I was like, are you kidding? I've never seen that. That is literally like 12 years of, or 11, of updates where it was like, oh God, please update me. Thank you. What a... I forget if this was explained before. It looks like Jacob has something on his hand, or his hand is robotic or something.
Oh, that's the grip glove.
Oh, okay.
It's just something we picked up. That's the...
Yeah, I saw. I just forgot if there was, like, his hand was cut off, so they replaced it or whatever.
No, it's literally just a glove.
Pretty cool.
What is going on? Dude, I don't remember this game being this weird. Like, I bet all the updates, like, made the game... It feels better in some ways, but, like, broken in other ways.
Boom! Erected.
Yeah, those spitters you really don't want to melee. If you try to melee them, like, sometimes it succeeds, and sometimes they'll just spit in your face and you take a ton of damage. So you should probably never do it, unless it's your literal last resort. Alright, we'll go there later. This game is designed a lot of times because it's so linear. Like, this game is just, like, walk from point A to point B the entire game. But a lot of times they'll do, like, imagine if there's, like, a straight line from beginning to end of the game, but then they'll do stuff like this where it's, like, a little tiny circle, like, adjacent to the line, where it's like, this is optional area where you get some items, and then by the time you're out of it, you just come back to the initial position. That's this game, like, constantly.
If you think about it,
it's a really straight line with, like, very tiny circles, like, here or there.
Oh, there's going to be an enemy here, because you have to go the whole way around or something. Spooky.
Actually, oh, there's some enemies on the way back, but... This fuse puzzle, like, right here, I guess it's just, like, a loading screen more than anything, but you come back here, and then you put the fuse back, and nothing happens.
Cool. Ooh. Also, Jacob is pretty lucky that, like, when he opened... That when he, shivvies open those things and breaks the control panels, that it opens the door and doesn't just like
And shock him.
Yeah, not shock him.
He's using a metal
Right.
like wrench.
Well, not only that, but like it's like okay, it's a lock mechanism, but just because you break a lock mechanism doesn't mean the door opens.
Yeah.
You know, like it could be like, oh, shut forever, you could never get through. Okay, great, thanks.
That's why it was like so convenient that we were like trapped in Danny's maximum security cell. Oh look, it's that thing that we've been opening the entire game right there.
What was to stop Danny from doing it? Having a wrench?
Because she's not based like Jacob.
I guess that's true.
If you find this,
No, you gotta have a wrench that looks like a shiv. Oh, dang. That's the secret for getting out of Alcatraz.
It's over. What? I don't need this crap. Actually, I want that money. Give me that money. Yeah.
Pristine.
Wow, this area is very pointless. Now we go back. I mean, I guess we got some,
Did you do anything?
we just got some lore and some handgun bullets and a little bit of money.
Cool.
That's it.
Classic, taking the one fuse from one place to another.
Yeah, now there's enemies here.
I'm actually surprised so far. I mean, at this point, we gotta be almost, what, 2 hours in? And you're going through it, like, not speed run, but, like, rather quickly because you know what's going on. I'm honestly surprised there's been, like, not any story besides Jacob gotta get out, don't like Danny.
This game is so barefoot.
Because that's the whole, when you were like, I'm gonna play this, I was like, oh, I can't wait to see about the, what's the warden guy's name again? The Cole. I thought he had like a name, like Warden or the Collectors. I don't know.
I guess it's Warden Cole. I don't know.
I guess the Warden, yeah. I thought there would be like a bunch of things where the Warden's like messing with us, and they're like, oh, here's this lore. Oh, just look at this. It's just
everything happened in the last 10% of the game.
wow. Because there's a certain character that's not... How do I put this? They're more of a part of the setting than they are a character. I asked Trevor if they're in this game, and he said yes. But, like, there's been no mention of this not alive character. And I'm like, but that's the whole reason I thought this sounded cool! And we haven't seen him yet.
Oh, you were going to be so disappointed. Are you talking about Patient Zero or whatever?
Yeah, I didn't know if that was a big plot
It's
point.
the most nothing thing ever.
What? Because it sounds so cool!
It's so nothing.
Is it just literally like you walk into the room and they're like, "There's Patient Zero," and you're like, "Yup."
It's even less than that.
Oh, come on! That's the whole.
Let's do.
I saw a video that mentioned it, and I was like, "That's so cool!" Like, I love in video games where they show like someone has like ridiculously eternal suffering, and I'm like, "This is so cool." You know, because it's a game in Minecraft,
Yeah.
it's not real life. But like, for them to just be like, "Oh, never mind." Fine. I want a health injector like that. I'm not feeling great. Just inject this chip into you. These nano machines.
This is like the area of the game where they give you the most random crap, and I'm not really sure why. There's a new like enemy. I mean, we were tackled by the new enemy once.
Right,
But
I saw
start,
that.
You start seeing it more often, but the enemy is not that hard. I don't know. And you do come back here, but they give you a lot of stuff for not a ton of reason. Give me that, so I can sell it. Health injectors are like just so they're not worthless, but to use them you have to hold it the D-pad down, and when you're doing it, you're like helpless for like 5 or 6 seconds in a row. In this game, like, you can barely ever do it. So, like, not only do they take an inventory slot, but you can hardly ever use it actually in combat. And they don't even, like, heal that much. Like, I swear they heal, like, 33% of your health, if I had to guess. It's definitely not 50. So, I don't know. And you just get, like, health pickups, too, that aren't, like, health injectors. They're just, like, you pick them up with your hands, and it automatically adds to your health. It's very odd. I understand what they were trying to go for, but the implementation leaves a lot to be desired.
Uh-oh. That's pretty cool.
And maybe it would work out more if this game didn't have checkpoints every 2 seconds. Alright, so we're getting to the point where every single zombie now are going to have these tentacles. So basically you have to kill them as fast as possible or they're going to transform into this. Where they're just kind of stronger. They're not really that much different. They just have a lot more health.
Even that part where you swung and then pulled out your blaster was like very jarring. If we're talking about just like the general like jankiness.
And here's a de facto Dead Space moment. Like, yeah, I get it. Shoot the tentacles, but it's not nearly as cool as you know, cut off the limbs. That's way cooler than shoot the tentacles.
What? They can't show it? I know you've done it before, but...
This game, like, we're probably not going to see it because I'm not going to, like, die that often. Well, we might die in this next, like, set piece section. But Jacob has some, like, horrendous deaths, and they show him, like, all in gruesome detail.
Here's an...
Oh my god, I get it, game.
Here's an honest-to-goodness question, alright? Games nowadays are more mature than they've ever been. Like, that's not... it's not something you can argue, right? Like, Thrill Kill in the late 90s was a canceled game because it was going to get an adults-only rating, and it's, like, nothing near where you see nowadays, right? Like, this is worse than Thrill Kill. Even if we don't include, like, how newer graphics are, right? Here's my question. Is there anything a game could do, violence-wise, to get it to have an adults-only rating? Like, yes, like something like
violence?
Related.
No.
Like, you could have, like, I don't know, like...
So, here's the reality of America, like, values. Not to get in the huge tangent here, but you can show someone get sawed in half, you can see all their entrails, their intestines could be, like, dragging on the floor while they're, like, half a body, and, like, you can cut up their face, you can literally, like, show their brains, but as soon as you show a nipple, it's adult only.
What if, and this is just hypothetical, what if there was a game where it's kind of like Manhunt, but you play as a serial killer who just goes around killing people? Do you think that would get adults only?
I mean, Hatred came out, which is like you literally just killing civilians.
What's Hatred?
It's like a PC... It was sort of like a shock gimmick game, but it's like, it's a survival game of you trying to kill as many civilians as possible before the police kill you. It is so edgy, but like
that game... Did it get an official release, or was it just one of those like weird like Steam releases?
I mean, it got released on Steam. I'm not sure if it came out on console. But even that game is like, gore-wise is way less hardcore than this game. It's just more like, just how...
I mean, Agony,
you know, just
Agony came out, and that
matter.
game, I mean, that game sucks, but Agony has, like, the most ridiculous, like, hell-based things possible, and it still came out with a mature. It's just, it's an interesting question, because, like, this game is, like, pretty brutal in the stuff you see, but, like, if you played as, like, a Jeffrey Dahmer kind of character, and you literally just took bodies and just, like, cut them up, and then put them in acid, would that be adults only, you know? And I think Trevor's probably right. It would take an awful lot. Maybe...
What the?
What?
What is going on with this game,
Maybe violence against minors, right? Like, I hope that would...
violence against minors or, like, exclusively women, or something, like, a serial killer against just women. That would probably ruffle a lot of feathers.
Yeah.